more serious stuff now. And you know, yesterday morning, I read Stabrook News, and I saw an article there. Case of Alness woman struck dead by truck wheel settled. And I said, no, we got to address this. That is before this big tragic accident on the bridge yesterday afternoon. I had it lined up to speak on. And here what the article says, the driver freed, right? The case involving the Alness woman who died after two wheels came loose from a moving truck and struck her was dismissed yesterday after a financial settlement of $4.4 million was accepted by her husband. On Sunday, October the 5th, 2025, at approximately 9:45 a.m., Donna Punch and her husband Leroy had exited a street on the northern side of Alness Public Road, Quarantine Borbies, and were standing by the roadside awaiting transportation to attend a church service. While standing on the parapet, a lorry GAJ 4955, driven by Devendranath Siram over the nearby village of Ulverston, was motoring along same public road when both of the right side rear wheels, right, came off, striking Donna as she stood at the side of the road. The impact threw Donna onto the grass parapet, knocking her unconscious. Public-spirited persons rushed the woman to the Port Moran Public Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Following the incident, Siram was arrested and charged with causing death by dangerous driving. But he pleaded not guilty to the charge, which was read to him by the magistrate at the Women's Magistrates Court. During the hearing, an unrepresented Siram indicated that a settlement in the sum of $4,475,000 had been reached with the family of the deceased. This sum was duly handed to Leroy Punch, the widower. After confirming the legitimacy of the settlement, the magistrate called Donna's husband to the witness stand, where he confirmed his acceptance of the agreement. With the settlement accepted and evidence provided, the magistrate officially dismissed the case against Siram. Well, I get a lot of things here I need to unpack. First of all, if the police are saying that this woman and her husband was standing at the side of the road, and the vehicle was traveling, and obviously some mechanical defect, they say after the two wheels came loose from the moving truck and struck her, two wheels came loose. There's a truck, so maybe double wheel at the back, and struck her. They went on to say that the man was charged with causing death by dangerous driving. I want to ask them this, and I hope that the media people follow up. If those are the circumstances, how are you convicting for causing death by dangerous driving? How are you even charging for causing death by dangerous driving? In order for a charge of causing death by dangerous driving to be sustained, you have to prove the death, which would have been easy to prove, no doubt, because there was been a post-mortem examination, and the post-mortem report would have said what was the result of the death. Yeah, one aspect. But then you have to prove the dangerous driving. You have to prove dangerous driving. And if what you're saying is man driving and the wheel fly off, how that is dangerous driving, I don't know. Something is wrong in this place. Something is wrong. So the man is charged with causing death by dangerous driving, and he pleads not guilty to the charge, correctly so, I believe. And then another disturbing part of this case is that the man decided to compensate. All right, good, right? Good. Right? But even motor manslaughter, because you have to have, look, let me understand this thing clearly. For every crime, you have to have two elements to convict for crime. The actus rea, the guilty act, and the mens rea, the state of mind, the guilty state of mind. And if you're saying that this will fly off, how do you prove this mens rea? How do you prove the guilty state of mind? A case like that, as I know it, a case like that, you send, it has to go for an inquest. You do the investigation, you send for an inquest, and then no the coroner's inquest, and there's no properly conducted inquest will determine that charges should be brought against that man. And then let me understand there are some charges, but not causing death by dangerous driving, right? Not causing death by dangerous driving. Maybe you're going to charge you for failing to maintain the vehicle and all of that. But causing death by dangerous driving, when the wheel flew off the vehicle and killed someone, come on, man, there's really stretching this thing. There's really stretching. And let me say further, because this is an issue that has been debated before. What role does the family, in this case the husband, has to play, that the husband can decide, well, I don't want this matter to continue? Who is the complainant in this matter? Right? It is the state versus this man. It is the state of Guyana versus him. So the husband is not a complainant where he can come and say, well, I don't want this matter to continue. It is the state. And I am saying that if they're talking about causing death by dangerous driving, right, then, but when you talk about compensation, the matter got to be tried. The matter got to be tried. And this, and when you, if the person is found guilty, then this can be part of what they call mitigation, right? Mitigation. So, all right, yeah, you find the man guilty, but the man, well, you can't find him guilty given the circumstances described again, right? Yeah, you could charge you failing to maintain the vehicle, but causing death by dangerous driving. I don't know where we are going. Look, let me say something. I cannot believe that the Director of Public Prosecution's Office would have been involved in this, in giving advice for this matter to go before the court for causing death by dangerous driving. I cannot believe that. And I'm being honest here. I cannot believe that given the circumstances, a file of this nature would have been sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions, and anybody there with any legal training would say charged with causing death by dangerous driving. I can't believe that. I can't. Trust me, I can't believe that. Because there's no way you can establish the case of causing death by dangerous driving. How do you prove that the man was driving dangerous? How do you prove that? So I thought that, and then this compensation thing, this is something that we have seen from time to time. Somebody is killed, and some family come and say, well, we accept settlement. The people say they're going to assist in burying the dead, they're going to give you some money, and the matter got done and so on. I said this is BS. They are not the virtual complainant in the matter. They are interested family members, yes, but they are not. This is not a matter where the husband is bringing a charge and he's the virtual complainant against this driver. It is the state is the complainant. The state is the complainant. Yeah, I'm not against compensation, but I'm talking about the process to arrive at it. And then to hear that the matter was dismissed because compensation was paid. The matter was dismissed because compensation was paid. We are in a sad place. It simply means, if we and it has happened before, you know, it simply means that them people with money can get away with anything. Because they're going to drive recklessly, they're going to kill somebody, and then because they get the money, and especially if it's a poor person's family, they give them a couple million because a $4 million or a $5 million, or even $1 million might be big money for poor people. That is the reality. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Mr. Punch should not have taken the money. I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking here about the process. Because I am saying this man should have never been charged in the first place. Should have never been charged with causing death by dangerous driving. Because you cannot prove that he drove dangerous. And I say this before I bring in Mr. Conway. As I know it, and remember I tell you I was a traffic chief on 2 occasions in Guyana. Right? 2 occasions. And I'm saying this. It is generally accepted, right, that when the accident results as a result of some mechanical failure, and we're going to talk about this again when we come to this accident yesterday, right? An accident occurs, whether it's damage or serious or fatal, that occurs, and you can establish that it was a result of some mechanical fault, right? Right? The driver is usually absolved from any criminal liability. because it was a mechanical fault. So no criminal, if you want, you can sue and carry the court for whatever, right? But how do you go ahead and charge when you are saying your investigation showed that the wheel come up? Maybe you maintain the vehicle properly, yes, you clap a charge and for that. But the charge of a causing death for dangerous driving, then the matter go before the magistrate. The man pay $4.something million as compensation and the case dismissed. The case dismissed. I want you to think about that. Let me bring in CC, and then we can move to this yesterday's accident now. CC, you want me to have your take with this accident in the quarantine according to October?
I don't know how you could prove dangerousness, because it's a causing death by dangerous driving. I drive in a vehicle, wheel get disengaged, hit a woman standing by the roadside, she receive injury, she die. How is it that I drove dangerously? How is it? And then Paul, you talking about DPP. Sometimes the file and reach DPP because we had instances where the police senior legal advisor dealt with the file, turn it back, took up the role of the DPP. We know in offenses on the Sexual Offences Act, where the files that got to go to DPP, we had instances where the legal advisor said, no, this ain't getting to DPP, and direct the police what to do. Perhaps all of that, perhaps if the file didn't reach the DPP, it was sent to the DPP, but the DPP didn't see the file. Somebody somewhere decided, hey, let me handle it, and not the DPP. So all kind of thing happen in this case, Paula.
But it's worrying, it's worrying. It shows a whole breakdown in the whole system. That is what is so worrying. It's a breakdown in the system, right? Because if the file, first of all, I as commander, and the commander has the prerogative to go through a file and to decide whether a charge should be brought or whether he needs legal advice. But we know in these times, all these files, once a file got to the commander, it's automatic. Send it for legal advice because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the experience to go through and see whether there are statements there to establish an offense. But in a case like this, yeah, the file has to go. But when you put it together and send the file, you are going to recommend that an inquest be held. And even if you did not recommend an inquest, any legal person who goes through the file and sees the circumstances which led to the death, unfortunate death of this woman, will say, have a coroner's inquest to determine if anyone was criminally liable. That is what should be the course of action. That is what the correct course of action should be. Which brings me to this accident yesterday now.